Hello, it's Christine Carroll here, and I'm going to describe a little bit about what I did for this assignment. So, this was about developing a strategic operation plan, and I did it for Tutoring by Christine, my business, and it was very challenging to do this. I'm going to start out with that. So, I hope I did what I was supposed to do, and I hope it's set up the right way. So first, what I did was I looked at four different tutoring places, and the four different tutoring places that I looked at, the strategic approaches of these places were Kaplan, Varsity Tutors, Kumon, and Resource Room Learning Center, which is a local tutoring place on the other side of Staten Island where I live. And I looked at areas that aligns with goals of my tutoring center and stakeholder needs as well as opportunities for innovation. Kaplan is a global educational service provider that offers many programs, including test prep, professional training, and higher education courses, which is similar to my course offerings. Their services encompass standardized test prep as well as subject specific tutoring across various disciplines. Varsity Tutors is an online platform, and I tend to look at their tutoring framework because I'd like to expand my online offerings. And it connects students with tutors to provide personalized learning experiences. They offer tutoring across a wide range of subjects, including math, science, languages, and test prep. Kumon is another global tutoring center, and it's after-school math and reading enrichment programs. There's actually one 2 blocks away from me, which is why I chose them. Dedicated to fostering independent learning and maximizing each student's potential. Their tutoring services focus on developing strong foundational skills in math and reading through a structured, incremental approach. They have their own curriculum, and it's drills that students go through in order to master concepts. They also utilize online learning platforms and continuously update their curricula. Resource Room Learning Center, it's, as I said before, it's located on Staten Island, and it offers the same kind of tutoring services that I do, although they also offer STEM camps that they have in the summertime and during breaks. They have online learning platforms and continuously update their curricula to meet evolving educational standards. By adopting similar strategies, such as developing digital courses, providing professional development for tutors, and identifying new geographic markets for expansion, I can align my operations with industry best practices, effectively meet internal and external stakeholder needs, and achieve my projected outcomes. I looked at different aspects of these different tutoring platforms, these different tutoring organizations, and I pulled out exactly what I needed to improve upon what I was offering. I was going to read this whole entire thing that I wrote about it, but I'm realizing it will go too long and strays from what the actual task at hand is. So I created the framework for a strategic operations plan for Tutoring by Christine. I have a description first, and then I have the table below it, and then I have my table of contents. I want to go through my references first, just to show you very quickly. I included here Nerdy is Varsity Tutors, Resource Room, Kaplan, and what was my other one? Varsity Tutors, Resource Room. So I have those referred to down in my references. So what I did here in my framework was that I started out with my executive summary with my mission statement, my vision statement, and my core values. I'm not going to read them all. You can read them yourself. I don't mean that rude. I just don't want you bored to death while I read it to you. I broke down organizational goals and objectives. I broke them down into two parts, my short-term objectives and my long-term objectives. My short-term objectives, 6 to 12 months. What I'd like to achieve is to have at least a 90% enrollment rate in the 3 classes that are my biggest income producing classes, my SAT, SHSAT, which if you're not familiar, that's a specialized high school test in New York City, and the tax classes, which is my Catholic high school test. I'm already almost at that enrollment rate for my tax classes. I want to offer 3 new subject offerings. A lot of people are calling me for study skills, and I did see that other tutoring places offer them. So I'd love to design a curriculum within the next 6 to 12 months so that I can offer that as well. And I think it's important. It's not just because other places offer it. I know that a lot of people call me for math for SAT, so I'd like to have math specific workshops. I actually have the curriculum almost written. I just have to plan it out. And SHSAT workshops to diversify our educational support. Actually, this was my first draft. In the bottom on the table, I adjusted this to ACT, which is the counterpart to SAT. And I'd like to achieve a 90% student satisfaction rate for both parents and students that we tutor. My long-term objectives for 3 to 5 years. The reason I was so excited about this class was because I was already thinking that I needed to create SOPs for everything that goes on. I need it for all aspects of my business, including administrative tasks, tutoring methodologies, client interactions, and marketing strategies. I did not realize how badly I needed these until I expanded my business in July and I hired more people, and I realized that I did not have the frameworks I needed to effectively train people, to effectively onboard students, and to keep my tutoring offerings up to date with how much space I now capitalized on. Also, my 3 to 5 year plan is to actually have my business ready to sell. So I'd like to scale the business to optimize for sale. And this is something I need to be very intentional about because I never thought about it before. I need to look at market analysis target audience. We already serve a very diverse student base from kindergarten to 12th grade. And we have students who have learning disabilities up to students who are gifted and talented. So these are the offerings that we have already. This is my location. I'm in a 2,500 square foot commercial space. The technology that I utilize right now, the communication tools that I utilize right now, my assessment and progress tracking systems, administration software, and I wrote here to outline the hours of operation, session scheduling procedures. I didn't put it there. Over here was when I started. I got a little more general, but in the table, I'm more specific. This is what I started out with that I gave to, there were only 2 people that I gave this to, was my business coach and one of the tutors. Because of time, this took me a long time to put together. So I gave that to them, and then that's how I came up with this strategic operating plan. When I gave that to my business coach and the tutor, I have to read my notes here. My business coach said that it was a very comprehensive, well-structured, effectively addressing key areas essential for business growth and sustainability. She gave me some recommendations. She said that my my mission and vision statement are fine, my core values are fine, my specific objectives and my operational plan was fine. She encouraged me to consider conducting a detailed analysis of local competitors so that I could have a more thorough market analysis. The financial plan, she asked me to include detailed financial projections and budgeting for staffing, materials, and marketing. And that's something I definitely need to work on. It's not something that I ever really have time to work on, but I am going to need to if I'm going to fulfill my dream of the 3 to 5 year plan of selling the business and making a profit. She also encouraged me to have more feedback mechanisms for not just parents and students, like I mentioned in my top part there, but for staff as well. And risk management to develop detailed contingency plans for identified risks. She had additional recommendations of integration of technology, community engagement, which is also something I'd like to do. I do offer free tutoring services for The homeless shelter, I'd like to get more involved with that because they don't really take advantage of it. So I need more structured offerings and ways to bring it to people that need it the most, but maybe don't realize the benefit of taking advantage of it. Also, community engagement, getting involved more with my local schools and partnering with them, and professional development. I know that I have to be more intentional with making sure that my tutors are more comfortable with the programs that I bring in. And then the tutor, she told me that, let me find, also with the money, make sure that I have a clearer picture. Finances has always been my Achilles heel, and this tutor has known me for a long time. And the pricing strategy, make sure I'm competitive yet sustainable, because it's hard because my pricing has gotten a little bit competitive, but you want to make sure that you are affordable at the same time. Recruiting people, that tutor brought up that I should probably have a more defined recruitment strategy with clear job descriptions, because when I hire people, I realize that I don't have that. I'm lucky enough that I do have great staff retention, so I'm doing something right, but I do need to have more structured SOPs. And she also brought up make sure that I have adequate insurance coverage for the risk management, but I do. I got what I was supposed to get. I had a meeting in the beginning when I opened up. Let's see what else. Okay, I think that legal and compliance. She brought up regulatory requirements. She has political family members, so she's very worried about making sure that we do what we're supposed to do and have our I's dotted and our T's crossed, and that our licenses are good. But for tutoring businesses, you don't really need licenses that are specific to tutoring. You just have to make sure you have the egresses, you make sure you have your licensed and your background checks for your tutors. Zoning laws, I have no worries about that. Educational standards, I'm always thinking about that. Oh, she brought up something to have data privacy, to make sure that when I am using all these digital platforms, when I am uploading student IEPs and things that are personal for each of the students, that I make sure that I have a strategy for making sure that they are protected, their identity is protected. And I think that's there's a lot more here that I wrote that I was going to say, but I could tell that this is going on much longer than it probably should because I tend to talk a lot. But I hope that you're getting the idea of what I'm hoping to plan here. In this table here, I have 5 organizational goals, which I discussed in the upper part of this assignment. And the timeline's all the way on the right side. I have some ideas for action steps here. So it is a little more specified than what was on top. The market and the operational plan. What I would love to have one day is an operational manager, like I know a couple of other tutoring places have, but I need to get my finances in order a little bit more. Marketing and outreach. I have a great social media girl, but I need to get a little more collaborative with her because she is always asking me for feedback and I'm always so busy. I think that's it. So I hope I made sense when I described this assignment to you. I hope that you enjoyed listening to it, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much.